The Whispers of Black Hollow Road. There's a road that runs deep into the woods near the forgotten town of Black Hollow. The locals refuse to drive it after dark. Most say it's haunted. Others claim something worse. But for as long as anyone can remember, people who venture down Black Hollow Road after midnight never return. Alex, a skeptical young journalist, had heard the tales and was eager to debunk them. He was assigned to write a Halloween feature for the newspaper. And what better topic than exposing a local ghost story? Armed with a flashlight, a camera, and a stubborn belief in logic, Alex set out for Black Hollow Road one chilly October night. The road was long and narrow, hemmed in by towering pines that clawed at the sky. The deeper he drove, the darker it became, as if the headlights themselves were being swallowed by the night. He passed rusted, abandoned cars half hidden in the underbrush. Their doors hung open like gaping mouths, and their windows reflected nothing. A few miles in, Alex stopped the car. The air was unnaturally still. No wind stirred the leaves, and the usual sounds of night, crickets, owls, the rustling of animals, were absent. It was too quiet. He stepped out and began taking photos of the road and the surrounding woods, jotting down notes in his journal. That's when he heard it. A whisper, soft, almost imperceptible, like the rustle of dry leaves. He froze, straining his ears. It came again, this time closer. Words he couldn't quite make out, spoken in a voice that was neither male nor female, young nor old. His flashlight flickered. "Hello?" Alex called, his voice betraying the first tremors of fear. "Who's there?" No response, only the whispers growing louder, overlapping, as if multiple voices were speaking at once. He swung the flashlight toward the sound, but the beam barely penetrated the darkness. For a brief moment he thought he saw movement between the trees, a pale figure, thin and unnaturally tall. The whispers turned into laughter, faint at first, but rising in volume, echoing from all directions. Alex's chest tightened as a cold dread settled over him. He stumbled backward toward his car, but the laughter grew louder, crueler, as if mocking him. "Stop it!" he shouted, spinning around to face the unseen threat. His flashlight died completely, plunging him into darkness. He fumbled for his phone, desperate for light, when he felt it. A hand, icy and skeletal, brushing against his shoulder. He turned to run, but the road was gone. The car was gone. He was surrounded by endless trees, their twisted branches forming grotesque shapes in the dim moonlight. The whispers returned, now in his ears, speaking his name. "Alex!" he screamed, running blindly through the woods, but no matter how far he ran, the voices followed, closer and closer. He tripped and fell, landing in the dirt. When he looked up, he saw them. Figures stood all around him, their faces pale and featureless, their bodies stretched and warped. They tilted their heads in unison, as if studying him, and then stepped forward. The whispers became deafening, a cacophony of words that made no sense, yet filled his mind with terror. The last thing Alex saw was their hands reaching for him, pulling him into the darkness. The next morning, Alex's car was found on the side of Black Hollow Road, its doors wide open. His camera and flashlight were still inside, but there was no sign of Alex. On the seat was his journal, opened to a single page. Scrawled across it in a shaky hand were the words, "They're here." No one ever saw Alex again. The town added his name to the list of those lost to Black Hollow Road, and the legend grew. But the whispers remained, waiting for the next curious soul to wander too far into the dark.